Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy from the Chris and Sandy Show, where we get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I say on every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We have Mike Glazer with us today. Get ready to laugh and learn as we welcome the multi-talented comedian, writer, and podcast host to the Chris and Sandy Show.
And we're excited to have you on. So welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Same. Are you two huge comedy fans, or have you done stand-up in the past? How did you land on making this show together?
Well, this show here, we interview guests throughout the whole entertainment industry.
And we're a husband and wife team, so we've known each other, a long time.
Yeah, so
what I want to do is I want to be able to go from off stage to on stage and just kind of like tweak myself a little bit more to be a performer, but otherwise I'm pretty much the same human being on and off stage. Like there's just a little bit more energy, a little bit more bravado, but otherwise, I'm not doing a persona. I'm not being someone who I'm not. I just kind of stroll up there and start talking, and it makes me feel better, you know?
And you got to be authentic, because again, especially with what you do, people will see right through it.
Yeah. I'm so proud of the material I'm doing right now, because it's from like a deep, real, honest place. And like we're on tour right now, and after a show, a man shook my hand and just goes, "Dude, that was so sincere and so hilarious." And I was like, "Oh man, all right, well, there goes my heart," you know, like that's everything I could ever ask for.
That's called life rules, right?
Yeah, life rules, man. It really does. I mean,
it does, right?
It kind of rules. Life is pretty amazing. And also I have a lot of like life rules. Like I have a lot of disciplined things that I try and live by, and they've served me beautifully so far. And life rules and life rules.
What are a few? What are a few of them, if you don't mind?
Of my rules for life?
Yeah.
Yo, right here. Shout out to this notebook. This is my whole life. This PTAN is Peter Tuesdays at Noon. He's my therapist. I talk about him in my special, but I talk about him a lot. He's a brilliant brain, and I go to him once or twice a week, and bringing my problems, my trauma, my whatever my deal is, bringing my deal into therapy allows me to not put it on my friend's family and girlfriend. Like I can be who I need to be in there, so that I can be a better version of myself in the outside world. And it's so important to me. And I'm really thankful for how dedicated I am to it.
Now there's that saying that, comedians are hiding a lot of pain on stage. Do you find that to be true?
I don't even know if we're hiding it, man. I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. You watch somebody and you're like, ooh, okay. Yeah, for sure.
That's why it's so real though.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel fortunate that I'm able to say it in funny ways, because if not, you would put your arm around me after a show and be like, "Hey man, you okay? You need to talk to somebody?" But luckily I'm funny while I do it. But yeah, I think a lot of it comes from pain. I mean, but also if we can all laugh about that together, then I mean, I don't know. That's one of the reasons it's cool to be a human being, right? Like we all have kind of we can all relate to each other. Yeah, we're all connected. Sure. Thank you. Exactly.
Like they say, we're like what 6 points of
6 degrees
separation from anybody in the world.
Not just Kevin Bacon, but from anybody.
Right, anybody.
Well, yeah, because think of if you knew Kevin Bacon, then who he knows, then who he knows.
Yeah.
But it's like 6. I think they say the average person is 6 degrees from anybody.
That's incredible. Wow. And so if you start with Kevin Bacon instead of end with him, that's the key.
True, because he knows everybody.
Because he knows.
Because then if you have him, then he probably knows one of the presidents. And now you know all the presidents.
I'm going to change my name to 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon. Cool. All right, great. Let's go.
So at what point in your life did you take a look at it and realize this comedy thing could actually be a career?
I'm trying to think of the first time I got paid for comedy, because everyone who gets into stand-up has that pipe dream of like, this is my career, this is what I'm meant to do, this is my
Yeah.
purpose in life. But until you're like making money doing it, it's hard to call it a career, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, right.
I remember, I'll say this one big gig that I'm incredibly proud of. There's this massive music festival in San Francisco called Outside Lands, and it has like my favorite artists on it. I don't know if you know who Tyler, the Creator, is. Have you heard that name before?
I've heard of him. Yes.
I'm not sure
You
if I
have.
have. I probably
All
have.
right.
Mm-hmm.
After this, I'm going to send you some links, watch some of his stuff, see what you think. But he was one of the headliners for the festival, and I got a call to do stand-up for 30 minutes, like as the sun was setting.
Oh, wow.
At this huge music festival that is like, it's a massive opportunity. And, you know, I knew that my job was just to entertain everyone while they're waiting for their drugs to kick in for the nighttime. But, you know, it's still a gig. I'll take that gig. And so I did stand up for like 5,000 people outside in a huge music festival, and it went great. And then the rest of the night, I'm running around, I'm dancing to Lizzo, I'm having a great time. And all these strangers are coming up to me and saying, you know, you were so funny, it's so great, can we take a picture with you? And I got a paycheck for it. Like, you know, the validation of that is infinite. I'll carry that with me the rest of my life.
Love that. Now, as you know, a lot of people, they see the glory in what you do, but they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles, the rejections, everything that comes with it. And I think a lot of people miss the opportunity to talk about that side of it because people don't see that side of it. So let's go there. What has been that side of it for you?
Man, I'm a people pleaser to my core. To my core. It's something I've struggled with my whole life. I often wonder where my career would be if I didn't for my whole life put so many people before me. I don't know if you have ever thought about that for yourselves, but the idea of being like, I need to serve everyone else before myself. I need to put everyone else before me so that I can help them before me. And then taking a back seat to my own life is like a struggle I still struggle with today. And so I often wonder where I would be if I was a little more selfish, a little more narcissistic, a little more of a sociopath. But I'm not. And so instead, now, thanks to being a people pleaser, I have beautiful people in my life who, when I say to my girlfriend, I'm like, I got to go to the Comedy Store and I got to set, instead of feeling guilty about it like I used to do, I used to be like, you know, I feel bad for leaving. She's like, get out of here, go kill it, have a great show, see you when you get back, and we'll make out for a little while, you know, like it's great. So I'm just like fortunate that my grind has led me to having a very supportive, tight circle around me of people I can trust. And now I'm on tour for the next 2.5 weeks with some really good friends. And I don't feel weird being on the road. I don't feel guilty. I feel like I'm so supported back home in Los Angeles that I can do anything. And now that my career has really taken off and I have some really powerful momentum for the first time, I have a core group of people around me who will only lift me up and level me up while I level them up too. And that is a great feeling.
Love that. You know, so, you know, out of all the grind that you've had to do, would you say now it's worth it?
Ooh, fuck yeah, man. I mean, come on now. Absolutely. This is my dream. I'm living my dream. Like, how many people get to say that they're living their dream? How many people get to say they're on tour with dear friends, selling out shows all over the country? They have a comedy special that they believe in. They're doing a show for Netflix Fest. Like, I'm living my dream. Like, I know what it takes to have success, and it takes a lot of hard work from, like, especially after being a professional hockey goalie like I was. But like, yeah, everything is worth it. I guess the thing I just wish, let me be honest with you. I'm trying to be honest. I wish I wish I wasn't so hard on myself so I could enjoy it in the moment more. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we sold out. We were in Vancouver last night, and it's a Tuesday, and we sold out 250 seats on a Tuesday. But my first thought was, I mean, yeah, but it wasn't standing room only. It wasn't 300. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you talking about, dude?
You can't win with your brain.
Shut up, brain. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So,
like
highs and lows. I'm going to change my name again to Shut Up Brain. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I was talking to someone recently, and I was on the phone yesterday, and he was talking about that he had to come to a point in his life to where he kind of lost his identity trying to be a songwriter. And even though he never had no big hits, when he looked back at his life, he'd done some amazing things throughout his life. And I'm talking more things than 99+ % of people have ever done, even though he never made the big hit that everybody's heard of. You know, and so he had to look back and find his identity again, because again, his dream was the songwriting, but he realized, you know what? It's not what I do that makes me, it's who I am.
Do you believe that? It's hard to believe that, if I'm going to be honest. It still smells like a little bit of bullshit to me. It's hard to wrap my head around, you know?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Well, it's one of them balancing acts, you know. You know, you want to do good, but at the same time, you also don't want it to become so much of your life that nothing else matters.
Yeah, that's true. So like when I was a little kid, I was put in the hockey net in the back of the church parking lot because I was a little fat kid. So they were like, you get to be in goal. You'll take up the whole net. And and then I ended up being like, all right, well, if you're going to put me back here, I'm going to be the best at taking up the whole net I can be in roller hockey. And I worked so hard and I poured myself into it and I dedicated myself to it so much that I became the best roller hockey goalie in the country. Is it the best ice hockey? No, but I won I won a gold medal with Team USA. We represented our country. We almost became an Olympic sport, and I was the best roller hockey goalie in the country. But that took so many hours. That took so much obsession. I would play hockey all night with my friends, and then I would come home and I would watch tape, and then I would read books, and then I would like watch my heroes play, and then I would go to games, and then I would practice and stretch and weightlift and run and eat right. And like it was a 24/7 discipline to get to that level.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the world doesn't work like sports, and I wish it did. I wish that human beings were more like a sport where like we're like we're all on the same team right now. So hopefully we're winning whatever this interview is. Yeah. But like in the world of stand-up, it's competitive, but there's so many outliers and so many variables that you really can't win. There's no real winning to it. And that's a hard transition for me to make, because in my life, if I just save every single puck and we score once, then we win. Like it is a very clean way of it's a clean mentality.
You know, if you win.
You know if you win. And out here, I can relate to your songwriter friend, because it's like, how do you know if you won? There's no scoreboard. There's no, there's no like championship belt for stand up. Like, how do you know anything? And it's a real difficult way to go about life if you're not built for it, because you can live stand up 24/7. You can write all day. You can go to every open mic. You can do all of it. And you still may not sell out an arena like Bert Kreischer. Like that's just how it goes. It's tricky, man. You know,
I remember when I was young, my big dream was to be one of the freestyle bike people. I was really good on it. And I was like what you said, sun up to sundown. Me and some friends were on our bikes all day. We'd come home, we'd watch videos of people doing tricks and all that, so that we could figure out what we're going to do tomorrow and try to learn that. And I spent 3-4 years solid like that, and being in Savannah in the South, it gets hot, but you know what? I don't remember it being that hot back then, even though it was, but when you're in that passion. But then as time went on, I end up kind of losing that dream because I was 17. I'll never forget, started having people of my peers, oh, you still on that bike? You still doing that? So they make you feel bad because you're still on this bicycle. And it kind of pulled me away from that drive. And I remember if I would have thought about it at that time, I think they're a little younger now, but back then the average pro in the bicycle world was like 20. So I wasn't even there yet. So, but I didn't, but again, as a 17-year-old, I didn't think about it. So what so talking about drive, what keeps you going? Where does that drive come from?
Man, I don't know. I really don't know. Cause the more I do it, the better I get it. I feel like every answer to that is like it's like some kind of like canned I'm running for mayor answer. You know what I mean? Like it's never. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to it's usually like, oh, growth and opportunity and making the world laugh. And it's like, shut up. No, it's not. It's not about making the world laugh. It's about you telling your stories and everyone paying attention to you, you narcissist. Validation. What are you talking about? Right?
Like a validation there.
Validation, man. Yeah, the end of maybe that's truly what it is. I'll tell you what. Thank you for that, Chris. At the end of my special on YouTube, Life Rules, my very last joke is about Peter Tuesdays at noon and a huge breakthrough I had in therapy and my neighbors hearing it through the wall of my apartment. And it's a really great joke I'm proud of, but it was also a turning point for me where that joke in particular is why I did my special, because that was when I started talking about real deep, honest stories and not just a bunch of like nonsense.
Yeah.
And that validation joke is exactly why I do stand up. Like I need validation. I need to know I'm good enough for myself. I need other people to like me. I want to please the world. I want to go home knowing that I made the world a better place while I was alive. And I also think that I'm creative and funny. And if I can make money doing that, then that's what I want to do. Like I have to believe in myself. And when you believe in yourself, great things can happen. So it's kind of a wishy-washy, like magical answer, but I think it's true, you know?
And speaking of, I feel you on that because I'll be honest with this show. Part of the reason I love this show is the guests that come on. In a way that gives me validation. All my life I've been an outcast, been this and that. I've been told I'd never accomplish anything in life. And so the one thing I found by the time I'm 50, all of a sudden I'm getting some validation from not necessarily fans, but from people who actually, to me, matter.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Can I ask what the conversation looked like, Sandy, when you all decided let's do this show together?
Actually, he is the one that came up with the idea for the show. I would personally, myself, I'm a behind the scenes person. That's where I like to be. That's where I want to be. But he wanted me to be a co-host.
And what had happened, what's funny is what had happened too, was we ran a little website called New Country Buzz.
Me years ago.
And we'd done that for years. And I even had a few interviews, even got to interview Kelsey Ballerini before she was Kelsey.
That's awesome.
And so I said, I watched what was going on out there. And I was like, I think it was at the end of 2019, I said, I think it's time for us to go that next level and do a show. And I'll never forget, she was like, well, what would we call it? I was like, what else? The Chris and Sandy Show. And she's like, but nobody would watch that.
You're crazy. Nobody knows who
we are. And she goes, nobody would even come on it. I was like, we'll find a way. Don't matter. Let's just do it. And then I'll never forget her words. She goes, I will do the show with you as long as we only do audio. And what's funny is 10 months later, after we've done about 200 and something interviews, she comes to me. It was like October of 2020 because we launched January of 2020. So October comes around and I guess it was end of September. She comes to me and says, do you think that we could do better if we were video? I was like, that's what I've been waiting for right there. I wasn't going to push her. We'd have stayed audio. But
and at the time, at the very beginning, we had a newborn. So I was behind
so she would be holding the baby while I was talking.
Diapers, holding the baby.
So it would have been a little tough, you know.
While we were doing the shows. It was mute, unmute. You had the baby screaming.
And
wow, a lot of people didn't know that at the time.
And when we launched in January 2020, little did we know, a couple months later, COVID would happen. And so all of a sudden, I went from being just a country music interview show of up and coming country people to saying, you know what, that just opened the door. Everybody, all the big people now need a place to talk, and we're going to give it to them. And so I started reaching out to all the agents and all that of the big people. And next thing I know, I end up with Randy Travis on, Sarah Evans on, you know, and people like that. And it just blossomed. And then it's just, and now we've done 600 interviews in the time.
That's incredible. I met Jelly Roll once.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if y'all know Jelly Roll. Yeah.
Oh, we do. So, yes.
Oh, man. What a warm guy. He was incredible. I was doing warm up at the NHL Awards in 2023 in Nashville. It was my first time in Nashville. So, what the heck was the host's name? Dirk Bentley? Dirk Bentley?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to spend a lot of time with Dirks, and I met Jelly Roll and all these Nashville superstars. Country music artists are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. They're truly some genuine folks. They're incredible.
And you know, it's funny at the Dirks Bentley bar. With our first time in Nashville, we were it's 2021, and we were walking down almost to Broadway. We're in front of Honky Tonk Central, and some guy comes out of there and hands our little one, which he was 9 at the time.
He was 9.
Not 9 years old.
3 years
this drumstick. It said that, but drummer wanted you to have this. Don't know why he picked little Chris, but there was other kids.
He was watching intent,
and so he gave him that. So we walk across the street, and we're watching a band play at Dirks Bentley Row. You know, so, yeah. And so we're watching that, and whoever the singer was I wish I'd have got her name, but whoever that was, she glanced out, seen him have a drumstick, come to the window and says, "How would you like to play the drums with us for one song?" And so they pull him through the window,
they lift him,
put him on the drums, and he's hitting it while she's singing Summer of 69.
69. That was a moment for him he'll never forget at 9 years old.
That's incredible. That's like a life-changing moment right there at 9 years old. Holy cow.
Wow, I videoed it all.
Yeah.
Good.
I went through the window too and got on stage with them. So
wow, that's great. What's your kid's name?
Little Chris, and you'll hear from him in a minute because
he's another co-host with us.
He always and speaking of, talking about him, and he's kind of part of our team, but speaking of teams, it takes a team to make anything work. Well, and it doesn't matter if you got a team of one person or a team of like 300 like Justin Bieber and people like that have, but a team is a team. So and they never get recognition, but on our show they do. So take a couple moments just to tell us about the team that helps you be who you are.
Sure thing. I thought my tour mates who I'm on tour with were coming in. I was going to introduce you real quick.
Oh, wow.
When they get back, I will. My team right now, when they get back, shout out Carmen Morales. She's a great comic. And shout out Billy Anderson. Billy put this tour together.
Oh, wow.
Billy created a show called The Gateway Show. And we do a sober set. And then we take an intermission and we get stoned out of our minds. And then we do a high set. And
oh, wow.
So we're smoking weed and making people laugh all over the country right now. We got about a week left. Wow. We're in like Washington, Oregon, and then we end on around 420 in Sacramento at this big theater. So people like that in my life keep me going. Tina Tazi is my girlfriend. She's phenomenal. She created a TV show called Is It Cake? I don't know if you've ever seen that on Netflix. But they're like, is this cake? And sometimes it's cake, and it's a black.
Oh, cool.
So shout out Tina. Shout out Heather, who connected you and I. She's at Icon. Heather's great.
We do. We love
Icon. And then I get to do shows at the Comedy Store now, and for me that's a huge deal. I think, the best comedy club in the country, if not the world.
Yeah.
And once a month I get to do my own show there called Glazer's After Party. And we just throw a rager once a month, and it's great comedians. I hand out some illegal substances, whatever you want to say, and just to be a part of that comedy community and work my way up there and you know, start to earn the respect of my peers in stand up is really important to me. So they're really great. You know, of course, shout out to my family and my brother Matt. And my grandma, Sally. I just got to shout out Sally real quick. She's 93 years old.
Oh, wow.
She's in Chicago.
Your biggest fan?
Love her. My biggest fan. She's like, oh my God, I knew I'd see your name in lights someday. You know, she's just, she's the one. She's the one. So yeah. And then, you know, I have some good groups I go to for things like, I go to a thing called Al-Anon, which is for people who have alcoholics in their life. So it's like a neighbor of AA, and that's helped me a lot. You know, just good groups, good people. I'm sorry, Chris, what's that?
Yeah, because I went through 19 years of addictions. I was been completely sober for 16 years now.
Wow. How do you feel for 16 years? Is it still one day at a time, or is that a pretty huge deal for you?
I feel like I've been healed by God, to be honest with you, because it was just one of those moments where it was like, I destroyed my first marriage because of the addictions. I was destroying this marriage. And I just got to the point where I was like, wow, you know, I really pleaded with God to either take the desire away or take me away. One of the two's got to happen. And then all of a sudden I have no more, and I had no desire in 16 years. And it was just one of them things where I never went through the day-to-day. That's why a lot of times like AA and all that won't put me on a stage, because my story would not resonate with what they teach, because I just feel like I've been healed. And I'm not saying I can go drink a drink. I won't do that. I'm not that stupid. but I don't have that desire anyway. And I don't want, and I prefer to keep it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really remarkable. Just the idea of like finding what works for you to do day in, day out for 16 years is awesome. I've only been in Al-Anon now. This is my 4th month. I stopped drinking in December of last year. Drinking isn't like hitting the bottle isn't my problem. My problem is enabling, people pleasing, putting, you know, I do a lot of my own disease is my own,
because mental is just as bad as the physical.
Yeah, man, it's real. So, but I'm real thankful that I found a group like this. And I'll tell you what, even being on the road, if anyone is like curious about, you know, any group that has to do with either substance abuse or enabling substance abuse users, there's Zoom meetings. So I've been on all these, you know, I'm traveling all over the country, and then 10 p.m. I'll be in the hotel hopping on Zoom, you know, joining a little meeting here and there. It's been real nice. Like, it's
COVID has changed everything.
Truly, man, truly, it's remarkable. So
because although the tech was already there before COVID, nobody realized the uses of the tech until COVID.
Yeah, and now whatever you need and whatever you're searching for, you can find it. It's pretty great. So yeah, I'm so glad you're sharing with me as well. Sometimes in these interviews, like I'll try and like speak from the heart and be kind of real, and then they just kind of stare at you and they're like, okay. So this is real nice.
But to me, I always, when we first launched the show, I told Sandy, and while I'm telling this, she can go on and get
I'll go get Christopher.
But I always wanted the show to be a conversation. Never wanted to really be an interview. Yeah, I got questions and a handful that I kind of asked the same pattern, but I want it to be a conversation. And sometimes it's hard because the guests sometimes have been trained to answer in the shortest possible way. And and I don't like that. I want them to answer in really the longest possible way, because then that gives me a way into what they're doing so that I can find a way to relate.
Absolutely. Well, like the fact that you're about to bring in little Chris here and I get to meet your kid, I'm like, okay, this is a real family affair here. This is fantastic. This is exactly what I was hoping for to start my day. So, yeah, I feel that way too. Like my favorite, I'm starting a podcast. I have 4 episodes out now and I'll keep going when I get back in town, but it's called Life Rules as well.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I have guests on and they tell me why their life is amazing and what their rules for life are. And it's only an hour, but more times than not, we don't even get through everything they wrote down to bring in because we're just chopping it up and having a great time and getting deeper. What's happening, Chris?
Hey, all right, hey, Mike. So, what's your favorite food?
So he gets
just getting right into it, my man. Nice. So right now, my girlfriend Tina and I, we are on the hunt for the best Italian sub in the country. So I love an Italian sub, and my favorite food is a cheeseburger, hands down. If I could have a cheeseburger every day, I make a great cheeseburger too, dude. If we ever meet up, let me cook some cheeseburgers. If you eat meat, I got you, man.
He loves meat, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. I got you on a cheeseburger. I'll crisp up the edges. I'll melt that cheese perfectly. Whatever condiments you're into, I got you. I'll toast the bun. Nobody's toasting buns like this, you know? I got you.
All right. My favorite food's pizza.
What kind?
Any kind, pretty much. Like sausage, pepperoni, pineapple. Just
He even likes pineapple.
What about? Do you like the crumble sausage or the circle sausage?
I don't know. It'd be hard.
What about thin crust, thick crust, original crust?
Maybe thin crust.
Yeah, same. Like a Domino's thin crust is probably my favorite pizza.
You get more of the pizza itself with the thin crust.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So if we ever kick it, Chris, I'll make us cheeseburgers and you bust out some pizza of some kind. Order us some slices.
Yes.
Sounds
that
good.
Sounds great.
Yeah. All right. What's your favorite car?
Yeah. All right. I got to look it up. Because I don't know who makes it. Do you know cars really well?
Yeah.
You do? All right. Do you know who makes the Wraith? WRAITH?
I'm not even sure about that one.
All right, I'm looking it up. It's my dream car.
Because we run another channel called The Customized Ride, where we go to car shows and film.
Ooh, that sounds great. Oh, Rolls Royce. It's a Rolls Royce. Hold on, I'll hold up a picture of it. This guy.
Ooh.
Yeah, they have it has like stars in the top of it, and the doors open the opposite way. Like my dream is to get like a Rolls Royce or a Bentley, and no driver. I'm driving it though. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you? Do you like speed or do you like Dodge Chargers? What are you into?
I like a 1970 Corvette.
Yo, all right.
He
don't
want just the Corvette. He wants the Pro Street Corvette, the one with the big engines.
Let me look this up. Pro Street Corvette. All right. Ooh. Wait, something like this.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Or let's see. Where's the big engine?
Yeah, I think it might be the older models.
Oh.
Okay. Right now it looks like there's a Stingray. There's all kinds of 70 Corvettes.
He likes the ones that's not, of course, it's customized, of course, because the Pro Street with the big engines that come out of engines. You know,
okay. I got
the kind that they put on the drag strip, but they're also street illegal.
Yeah. So when those tires spin and smoke.
Yeah, he loves the burnouts.
Yeah. Wait, do you street race?
No, but we go film a lot of the burnout competitions too. Like, in fact, awesome. we're going to Jacksonville beginning of May. They have hot rods versus rat rods in a burnout competition.
Yo, that's going to be amazing. I got to figure out how to come do some stand-up shows down by y'all when these things are happening, because this sounds like a blast.
And then a couple of days after we leave from Jacksonville, we come back home, and then that Tuesday we're heading to Nashville.
Oh, nice.
Nashville's like our home away from home. We love Nashville.
Same. Chris, I heard that you played drums in Nashville. Is that true?
Yeah, on the first night.
Dude,
that's the craziest thing too. The very first night, you know, and he was sold on. He was like, "We need to move to Nashville."
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What else
is happening, Chris? Tell me something else, man.
And he's homeschooled, so
let's see. What should I?
You look like you either lift weights or wrestle.
Yeah, I do sometimes at my friend's house.
with his buddies.
Yeah, you look like you're strong up here. Like you could do I bet. What do you do? Squats and deadlifts or what? How are you so strong?
But I do weights sometimes with my friends.
And he's also in gymnastics.
Gymnastics, that's what it is. That's what it is. Can you do a standing backflip?
No. I can do a front flip.
He's working on it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's funny. Back when I was younger, I could do a backflip, but I could never do a front flip. Backflips was just easier from a front flip. I just never did get the spin. Even on a trampoline, awesome. I can't hardly do a front flip, but backflips no problem.
Well, I can't even dive. I just do a cannonball into the water. So both of you beat me.
All right, that's it. My questions.
Oh, okay. Good to see you, man. Nice to meet you.
Good to see you too.
But yeah, as you see, we try to keep this a family affair, as you said. I love the term you use because that's what we say. It's a family affair.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic.
And we've got a 4-year-old daughter or 5. Well, that's right. She just turned 5. 5-year-old daughter that when she gets older, if the show's doing really good, we'll plug her in too.
Hey, nice. What's her name?
Caitlin.
Caitlin. That's great. This is awesome. It's so great to meet all of you.
So
I'm going to change it to life rules. All right.
That's the best, right? So what's something crazy that's happened to you while on tour?
Well, I'll tell you about this tour in particular, if that's all right.
That's fine. That's perfect.
Well, there's a couple. I used to do a show in Los Angeles. I'll beat through a couple of them because I know we're coming up on it here. When I did a show in Los Angeles called Glazed, it was comedy, stand-up, live music, street art, magic. I just found the best of Los Angeles. And one night Dave Chappelle dropped in. Oh, wow. And he and I hit it off. And then he had such a good time. He was like, "Can I just co-host with you the rest of the night?" So it's Dave Chappelle and I on stage, just co-hosting for 3 hours.
Wow.
We end it with my live band playing Radiohead's Creep. And all of us stand up and sing Creep together before the doors open and we float off into the night. So that was pretty special. And then the next night or the next show, Jerry Seinfeld comes by because he wants to try a bunch of new material. And he's like, "I heard this show was great." And so then Jerry Seinfeld came and did my show and I got to meet him. I've gotten to meet so many of my heroes just by creating my own work. And when you create your own stuff, opportunity comes to you, I think. So that was pretty cool. I got to cook with Gordon Ramsay after graduating from culinary school. And he told me I'd be a pretty decent line cook, which is a huge compliment. From him, just, hey, I wish he yelled at me. That would have been a dream. I kind of wanted him to yell at me. That's what you want, right? You want Gordon Ramsay to be like, "You're bad at this." But, I guess I got too much skill. Yeah. And then, I'll tell you another one that's really beautiful. I wrote for a benefit show on HBO called Night of Too Many Stars. Hey, Sandy. Called Night of Too Many Stars. And it got nominated for an Emmy. So I got nominated for an Emmy as a writer. But the show itself is a fundraiser for children with autism. And so we raised millions and millions and millions of dollars for children with autism. And Jon Stewart was there and Chris Rock and all of these like luminaries who I got to write for. And they said my words and my words got laughs. So it told me I'm good at writing comedy too. And it felt extra special because my brother, Matt, he works in special education in St. Louis, Missouri. And he's trying to change the special education industry from the inside out, especially in Missouri. And so my comedy and my hard work directly affected his hard work in his space. And so I really felt like I got to raise a lot of money that will impact my brother's life and every child he works with in a really great way. So that was a pretty special one as well.
Love that. So what advice would you give a fellow comedian who wants to do what you do?
Hit the stage, trust your gut, don't quit, figure out what works, figure out what doesn't, be honest with yourself, and be hard on yourself. Don't be easy. If you think just because you have some easy joke and it works, so what, man? So what? Get to the core of who you are, and you'll find even better stuff that nobody else is going to be able to do except for you.
So where do you want to be or see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, selling out theaters all over the world, traveling with my girlfriend Tina, doing it. She's taking Zoom meetings, creating TV shows all day. I'm doing stand-up for sold-out theaters all night.
She's always welcome to come on the show if she wants.
Oh yes,
I'll absolutely mention it to her. Happy to. And then we go out and eat a big plate of spaghetti to finish out the night while a bunch of stray dogs hang around trying to get meatballs from us. Like, that's all I want in life, you know? I just want to travel, do stand-up, sell out shows, and hang out with the people that I love. That's it.
Love that.
Awesome. So I don't know if Chris already asked this, but who would be your dream person to collaborate with?
Oh boy. The thing is that, like, they always say don't meet your heroes, and every single one of my heroes that I've met is awesome. Like, they're just the coolest people in the world.
Love that.
You know,
that.
Like, it's pretty incredible. I've gotten to smoke weed with Snoop Dogg.
Oh, like, that's amazing. Wow.
You know, like, yeah. I don't know who else is who's left. I got to perform with Dave Chappelle. I cooked with Gordon Ramsay. I met my hockey goalie hero, Martin Brodeur. Who's left, man? I don't know.
Willie Nelson would be good.
You're right. I was 1 degree away. I got to hang out with David Crosby one night, so I was close. Cool. but haven't met Willie. I'll say Willie Nelson then, just because.
That's the right one.
But I'll tell you what, interesting. I have met his son Micah Nelson, who goes by the name Particle Kid. And so if you're looking for some great country music, check out Willie Nelson's son, Particle Kid. He's great.
Awesome.
We definitely will. That's awesome. So as we end the show here, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I'm so glad to meet your whole family. This has been awesome. I think life rules, and waking up today to get to chat with y'all is like a big reason why I feel like it's my brand and it's who I am. It's just celebrate life and have some rules for life. Check out my special. It's on YouTube. Check out my Instagram. I'm on tour, and then I'm at Netflix's A Joke Fest in Los Angeles, and then I'm doing shows at the store. Check out my podcast, Life Rules. It's also on my YouTube. And drink water and get sunshine. I guess that's the last 2 things.
Love
Great
that.
Advice.
So stay on as I end here. But everybody who's watching still, been a great show. Be sure to look him up. Go to any of his shows if he goes to your local area. And tomorrow we have Zorro the drummer coming on. So we're excited about that one too. And we will see y'all tomorrow.